Hey everybody, this is John. Enjoy this meditation with Rob Dube, the author of the book Do Nothing and the CEO at Image One. Enjoy. You know, Rob, one of the things I always hear from some business people are, when I talk about meditation, they're like, well, give me the facts, give me the facts. And, to me, it's kind of like, well, there's facts, and I understand the whole idea of you can't negotiate facts. But there's also, like you've talked, it's just like inner work, and sometimes you just can't put, sometimes you don't always have to put a fact on it. But let's talk about facts today. For those fact-driven people, and that get them to look inward. What are some of the facts on meditation?
Yeah, well, I am one of those people, and back in 2005, I tell that story about when I was highly stressed at a moment. I went and sat in a chair, breathed in and breathed out. I felt a little bit better and calmer. And I thought, well, maybe there's something to this, but I have to dig a little deeper and become a student and a practitioner before I can truly be convinced. And so over this last 14 years, and certainly in writing the book, and even before that, I had been studying the benefits of meditation, both through studies that have been out there and practices that organizations have had around the world. I learned that there had been 6,800 articles or studies done on meditation since 1972. What I found really interesting as I got more and more into this was, and as I started to do the book, between the years of 2014 and 2016, there had actually been 3,100 of those 6,800 studies were done. So the needle just went, like, it turned into like a mountain. And so the other interesting thing about these studies, about these articles, is almost exclusively they exude the benefits of meditation. There isn't a study out there that says this is really bad for you, stay away from it. And so, so I had that as a data point. I then learned that branches of the military around the world, different branches of the military, not just the U.S. military, were incorporating meditation into their training. Places like the Virginia Military Institute is one example I like to use. They actually have a class which they named Modern Warriorship, and all incoming cadets are required to take the class. And they teach the benefits of meditation. They teach all the cadets how to maintain a meditation practice, and the cadets are required to take it on as a discipline for that semester. And a vast majority of them keep that discipline going. And I would say mainly because they created the discipline, they created the habit, and that class, Modern Warriorship, helps them to do that. I also love the name. I always thought it was a great name. It. He named it Modern Warriorship to kind of break down the barriers, maybe some of the mental barriers. Okay, so I'm an entrepreneur, and I thought, well, how can this be good for business? How can this affect my company or myself as a leader at my company? And I learned that companies and organizations all over the world had been bringing meditation into their health and wellness programs. And I had the good fortune to sit down with the CEO of Aetna, Mark Bertolini, who is an avid meditator. And when he took over Aetna, they were in rough shape. Their stock price was in the 30s. And he went around the country and talked to many of the employees about what were some of the challenges and struggles that they were dealing with, what were they doing well, what were they not doing well as a company. And he also came back passionate to, from his own personal experience, which stemmed from a skiing accident where he was basically paralyzed. And when he came out of that and was able to rehab, he had chronic pain each and every day of every moment of every day. He was on painkillers like many, and he didn't like the feeling. And so he tried different things, and ultimately and he was willing to try anything, and somebody recommended meditation. And so he took on a meditation practice, also along with a yoga practice, which helped, keep his muscles in the way they needed to be from a consistent rehab standpoint. This is a life's journey that he's on. But the meditation in particular helped him be at one with the pain versus what most of us do, myself included, which is when I have pain, I want it gone. But when you have chronic pain, it doesn't go away. So you have to learn how to embrace it. And that's what the meditation did for him. But it also did so many other things. And he became such a human proponent. And he brought that meditation philosophy into Aetna. They did a workshop. Being an insurance company, they wanted to measure everything. And what they found was after 1/4 of the employees at Aetna took the workshop, they found that of those employees, and they had at the time, I think around 50,000 employees, of those employees, healthcare costs were reduced by 7%.
Wow.
Their stress levels were reduced by 28%. Their sleep quality improved by 20%. And those who had chronic pain or consistent physical pain, they felt their pain was reduced by 19%. What was also cool about it was that Google, years before them, had done a similar workshop and had been studying it just like Aetna, and the results are almost identical. It's
really
nuts. And these are two separate companies, two separate agendas. They weren't working together on this. And so they found a consistency amongst these two major companies. And I interviewed Mark Bertolini for my book, Do Nothing. And I said, their stock price now is, I think it's in the upper hundreds or 200 or something. And they're going through an acquisition with CVS is actually acquiring the company. It's a very successful story. And he looked at me and he said, and meditation had everything to do with it. And then of course he laughed, he paused for a second. I was looking at him because no, obviously there were tons of factors that had to do with it. Tons and tons of factors. Meditation was, he felt, certainly part of it. But then he said something really insightful. He said, but the thing I noticed most was that people were just easier to get along with. I can't put a price on that. My happiness at work, I can't put a price on. And I love that. I thought that was a great piece of wisdom, because when you have people who are becoming highly aware and present and waking up, they are easier to get along with, and you can't put a price on that.
I love everything about those stats. If you can email me those stats, I'd love it.
Sure.
On both companies. And here's what I love most about it. We hear all the time, and we all read all the time, the importance of investing in your people. Well, there's nothing kinder to give people than the gift of meditation, to really slow down their brain and take care of the inside from the inside out. And when you look at facts like that, I know I jokingly said at the beginning, but I do always believe this, you can't negotiate facts. You can't negotiate facts. And so those are some amazing numbers, and kudos to Aetna and to Google, and the fact that they're like everyone who's listening. I'm really going to ask, I don't ask this a lot, but share this episode with people who need it, because it's only going to be a couple minutes long. And it's critical that people can connect both worlds of the art and science of meditation. Rob, thanks so much for sharing this wisdom today. I appreciate it. It's going to have a compounding effect on many, many people. For those of you who want to learn more about Rob and what his teachings are, go to Amazon and check out his book, Do Nothing, Rob Dube. Rob, you're awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John.